What is up? What is up? What is up? So this is the devlog for Night Jackal Blood Debt. A little rundown on what it is. This is mainly for the video. I don't know if anybody is popping into these streams, but that is more than okay. Haven't really built a presence on Twitch. I'm not trying to be a Twitch streamer. But anyway, so this is a devlog for Night Jackal Blood Debt. Is built in EFPSE, which is easy FPS editor. Normally wouldn't use this type of engine. Well, the engine's great. I wouldn't use this type of IDE development environment to make a game because it's a little basic. There's not a lot of ability to customize. You can, I mean, there's customization, but it's very straightforward. But I'll kind of show you what I mean. Like the test map, for instance. Let me just open this up a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to mess with the screen. No, it looks fine. Resized it, but it looks the same. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I can delete everything I have here. So you put your player down and all that. And just go and delete all these objects and enemies and that sort of thing. And then you have tiles that you put down. And I can just do this to delete them. And this to delete it. And the basic idea of how this works is, so if I want to put these tiles down, right? And then I've got my player. And let me just move this map up so it'll actually play. Oh, I don't have to do that, but whatever. Oh. Yeah, so it's one of the little funky things. You notice this came back, and that is because I did not save the map. So all this stuff just came back, and I will do it again and save the map. It's got a lot of peculiarities like that. So anyway, it is a tile-based system. Each one of these tiles is 64 by 64, and actually they're 64 by 64 by 64 because they're, think Minecraft, very, very square. And so I can just put the player here, and this is how easy it is just to get going. And let me make sure that's showing up. Yes, I've had some difficulties with OBS, so I'm just checking. Oh, and I forgot to get rid of those tiles. So that's from previous. I didn't delete those. But you get kind of the idea. There's these... I just laid a bunch of floor tiles down. And you can go off to the side. But this is what it looks like. Very basic. You go up here and delete this. These were the other tiles. Just delete that. And you can add... walls as well. So there's walls here. Let me just pick one that looks, let's do this one. And if I go through here and replace these, you can tell I'm just kind of making a little bit of a map. Not a great one, but you get kind of the idea. And so here you go. And if I hit this button to test it, you get kind of the idea. It's really simple to set up. And it just makes these blocky tiles, and you still have to make your textures, or you can find them and download them and whatever. But you get the idea. And then you add in weapons. So for this one, my first weapon is my fists. I'm going to add in these guys. These are my fang blades, specific to the genre of the comic book character that I have here. And I'm going to drop some of these here. That's my shotgun. It's not a very powerful shotgun. A lot of people like to do big shotguns in their games. I instead made a a little shotgun. It's a silence one. It's not as powerful. I don't know. I didn't want to be like everybody else. I'm trying to make something unique. All right, so this is just a bunch of weapons. And I can put a bad guy over here. Okay, put my little fire henchman character. And I'll show you. So you can see I have my fists. Pretty good. Right. This is very accurate fang blade. And here's the shotgun. I mean, it's powerful enough. It's, you know. Hey, what are you doing? That's my bad guy here, and you can see you build all these sprites, and they run around, and that sort of thing. This one shoots fire, and you can duck it, and they blow up. I need to fix that timing. Let's do that now, actually, because this is a devlog. Okay. Let's see if you can see this. Yeah, there's some funky stuff going on with OBS. There's a stack. I mean, I understand why it works this way, but I've had trouble. You have to minimize the application to basically get it to disappear. Although, because it's stacked. I guess the idea is you put graphics up and all that. But I really just wish it would give focus to what I'm working on. I wish it had an option to do that where you can select. Maybe it does, and I just don't know. Because, again, I'm not trying to be a professional streamer. I'm just trying to get this devlog out. And we can maybe give people instruction on how to use this, because the community is great. The community behind Easy FPS Editor is fantastic, and there's the guy who, or lady, I don't know, their name is Jessica, so I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but the developer that created this, they just wanted to create a little engine and just to make little fun games. And I think they try to monetize it for a while. I don't know if they made any money off of it, but my dollar store glasses that I've had for 25 years. But she or he stopped. That developer stopped working on that game, and somebody else picked it up. This guy named Clark, which I don't think is his real name, but I don't know. But he picked it up. So this is called the CE edition. In fact, if you look at my BRB screen, which I'll switch to in a second, you'll see it has a little logo for Easy FPS Editor, and it'll say CE, which stands for Clark Edition. Here, I'll just switch over real quick. Yeah, so this is the Clark Edition, and he just came back because there was several bugs, and he's been watching. He doesn't get paid for this. This is a love of the community type of thing. And he came back, and he started working on it. And I've been working with him to make an update to fix a bug that I've been experiencing, which is a save issue, which I don't fully understand it. When you get to a point and you save, you can quit out of the game and then you open it back up and it'll crash your game, which is obviously not a good thing. So he knows about it. He figured out what it was, and he says, I'll post a fix in the next version, which should be coming out soon, maybe in another next week or something. I don't think he's going to work on this too long. He's going to work on it a couple weeks and figure out what the bugs are and fix them, and then get a good dev version out that everybody's happy with. So if you like building games and you want to build a boomer shooter, this is what these are called, you can come over to their Discord. It's not hard to find. If you start looking up Easy FPS Editor, you'll see a bunch of resources. You'll discover it eventually, and they will have a Discord link somewhere online. But this is where the magic happens. I've got we just moved to Austin like a month ago, so I am officially in the South. I moved from Los Angeles, and here we are. I've got my glasses that I use for working because my eyes suck. As you get older, this is something you have to put up with. Don't get old, guys. Don't get old. Stay young. Yeah, stay young. All right, so let's fix this fire hinge, okay? And let me bring this up. So I have to minimize this. So we get our, this is just Notepad++, or is it just, yeah, plus plus. There's not, so there's two things you basically work with in terms of files. And there's the, well, in terms of text files. One is your scripting, a scripting language that's unique to Easy FPS editor. And there's also these SFM, which are your finite state machines. So you'll make files that are called states, or you make files that are called scripts, right? This is a very basic script here. And this just checks the player's position if you stand on a certain tile. This is what this script does. It'll play a little sound, and you know, here's creaky wood. This is the startup of the game where there's an invasion on your manor, so you're going through these dark halls, and you come in, and it just triggers these creaky wood sounds, so that, you know, it sounds like somebody is walking around. It's kind of, you know, unsettling. Here's one where we trigger a save, and this DB is just, there's multiple variables that you can make. You can just type a variable. Here, let me show you. If I just type a variable, which I could say var equals 1. All right, so that's local. So that's scoped to this script, and once the script's done executing, it's wiped from memory. So you would set this if you want it to, you know, because you always have to think about memory management. Less so these days, but you still do. And you were like, if var, you know, you got to do the string. If var equals 1, right? And then this will execute. And then after it executes, it'll clear it from memory. Now, if you want to keep it in memory, there's a couple options here. You can do what's known as a map variable. And so for the map that you're in, it will keep a variable. And if you know, and you have to use these strings to access it, to read it. So the string symbol. This is kind of like where do we used to use this? Was it BASIC? I can't remember, but I remember the string symbol, which is the $, basically, that you can keep strings back in the day, and that's what they were called. But of course, if you use data typing as your dev, when you use strings, usually that means this. You know, you'll have like a, you know, that'll be a string. Otherwise, you have like a number, and you can get to floats and doubles, but this is not that advanced. It has some math. You can do some math, but and there are people who do play around with the math on this, and it's pretty dope when they do that. If you might see me tongue in my teeth, I chipped a tooth. It's not bad. I just have to go to a dentist and get that cleared up. But I just got here, and so funny thing, I actually called a dentist when I got out here. When I first chipped this tooth, I was like, oh, I got to get this fixed, because I had one fixed down below. Because you grind your teeth. I have a mouth guard, but you grind your teeth at night, and your teeth start to break as you get older too, and chip. So when you're grinding your teeth, it makes them weaken and all that. They call it bruxing, I think is what it's called. So you get a mouth guard, and you know, my first mouth guard got eaten by a dog. It's a true story. And then so I got another one, and I just stopped using it because it's, you know, kind of a pain in the ass to put it in. Well, it's totally worth it to do it. It's just like flossing your teeth. You have to just do it. Because I didn't do it for probably about 2 years or so, and then, you know, I started grinding my teeth a little bit, so that's kind of weakened them on the edges. Not a big deal. They come in, they put like a composite in or something, some sort of resin or whatever, and fix it. But right now, it's got a little chip on it. I'm always tonguing it. Okay. It feels weird. All right, so anyway, we're talking about variables. You got the map variable. It's only for the map, and when you leave the map and go to a different map, it clears out. There's global. Global, if you know anything about global variables. There's several languages that actually use global, and they have public and private and this sort of thing in different classes. This is not a language that uses classes. You can have various scripts, but they're executed mostly either through a trigger, a terminal on the map. There's also a map loop script. I mean, it's very basic stuff. And you can bind them to keys. Very basic stuff you can do. But the global variable will keep the variable globally while the game is open. And that's why you'll notice in my game, open this up again, go back to maps, I have something called globals up here, which is every time you start the game, it clears out the big global variables. So I have a map script that's associated with that. So whenever that runs, that will execute. Anyway, so that's the global. You have to kind of reset them because you can exit the game, or not exit. You could start a new game and those globals will still be set. So you have to kind of reset all those. If you have any global variables, you have to have a way to reset them when you start a new game. Otherwise, it'll keep your values. And then the final one is DB, which is database, which is crazy because it's not actually a database, but the idea is there's a local text file, and this variable will be saved there, and it'll load it in, and that'll be something that's persistent. So that's just kind of the basic gist of variables in this game. And everything is very syntax specific. Like, honestly, if I did like this won't execute, or likely won't. So I have to have these spaces perfectly. It's a weird thing. Like if I wanted to do a variable like new x, for instance, it's just my x position. You have to go equals the value, right? And you notice there's no spaces. If I do this, it doesn't work, or I've seen it not work. I've seen other people add their code in, and for some reason it seems to work. But I had a version, I don't know, maybe it changed with newer versions. Maybe their syntax parser actually is more forgiving now. I don't know, since these later versions. But when I started, it was not working. So ever since, I've just kind of stuck to this way that it's been working. But when you access it, like here, you see that you have the spaces. It's just really, really kind of funky stuff. But that's because it's not made by a team. This is made by individuals that are in the community. So, you can't expect it to be like a Unity engine. What's cool about it, the reason why it's gotten so popular, is that it's based off of the Quake engine, and a lot of different engines are based off of it because it's just so good. It's good for platforming. It's good for a lot of things, and unfortunately, the game Quake just never did as well as the engine did. I mean, and I learned of why that happened is because they had to cut corners, and because they needed to hit a release date, and so they were rushing, and so they even though they built this great engine out that everybody loves, it was supposed to contend with Doom, but they never actually created levels that people loved as much as Doom, and so it never took off. But we were going to fix, yes, the fire, the fire henchman, because it's a little off, the animation's off, and that's because it's not a scripting thing, it's the finite state machine. They've done some updates to it, so the finite state machine has changed. And states, basically this is what states are. It just goes through different states for your different entities that you have. So these are this is a weapon here. And you have entities you have like an enemy entity, you have a weapon, these are all objects that you have in the game, and you can associate a finite state machine, and it just goes through. So like if it's idle, this is a weapon. If it's just idle, it's just there. So you can have an animation if it's just idle, and it could be like somebody messing with the gun. You've seen the animations. There's an attack. There's an alt attack, which is a right mouse button, and this one just zooms in a little bit. There's a reload animation, and then we do the no zoom, and that's after you do an attack, because there's some limitations. Anyway, it's just another state. I'm not going to get into exactly why that's been put in there, but we will find the fire hinge. I guess it would be a period. And so this is their state. And so the finite machine has changed. So it used to not operate as well as it does now. So you had to, so everything's slowed down a little bit. Everything takes a little bit longer, and hertz take a little bit longer. So you have to shrink all these. I used to have this as like a 1 second, time and all that. So I had to shrink all that whenever they updated the FSM. Okay, so the issue that we're seeing with him, or her actually, it's a woman, is the amount of time. So I bet you, if I just drop this down, it's very scientific now. And this is just the time that we stay on each one of these frames. So it goes from frame 9. The first frame, it can't do anything. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, this is just basically a throwaway frame. So I usually just set it to like 0.0001, so it just moves through so quickly. But it goes through these frames, frame 9, 10, 11, 12. And these are just animations when she's dying. And she's looking around, and she goes, And let's just see. Is there a sound? Yes. There's not a sound. All right, I don't know what's going on. Let me just do this. Very tired today. Not going to be a long stream. So you see, it was much faster that time, and too fast. Right. And oh, so the sound is here. Let me just change these to 1, just see. I'm just trying to get the speed. I'll come back and look at the animation in a second. There you go. And that solved it. See? Let's do a new game. Perfect. Her explosion took some life off of me. I wonder if I could do, you know what we can do? So, I have her as, where is she? Here she is. I've set her property here. First of all, I'm going to change her to 16. It's just the radius of her body. 16. So she's basically 32 wide. She's basically half a block now. Explosion radius, excuse me. Yeah, so here, explosion radius is 3. I don't know what that mathematically means. 3 blocks, maybe? So maybe the idea is that she is going out like this far. So if you're anywhere in that sort of radius, you get kind of the idea. Then you're impacted by the explosion. You see what I'm saying? Maybe that's what the 3 means. I don't know. But it is large enough. If you're too close to her, you start to feel it. And what's kind of cool is... But what's bad about it is you don't see... Maybe this is a bug I should put in. You don't actually see the health coming off. You don't get the flash of red. Because anytime you're hurt, you get some sort of feedback. So I'll show you. Watch when she hits me. See it turn red. But being close like this... Oh, I did turn red. Oh, damn. She took me down to 1. Let's try that again. Let me get close to her. Does it turn red? Oh, it does work. Never mind. I am crazy. I am nuts. It does work. But it might be a little... Maybe the issue I'm having is a little confusing because when she blows up, you just see an explosion very close to her. You don't see one that is far away. Maybe I can have her create explosions around her that are just sort of visual. And yeah, maybe I'll do that. So she'll spawn another entity that will just be an explosion for just visual reference. That could be kind of cool. Yeah. So, what do we need to do? Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a state. So I'm just going to go create a new document. You can't see because I don't have it set up for you to see it. But I'm just going to create a new state in my files that's called fire hinge explosion. And I'm going to call it, change it to states. Okay. And I'm going to open it up. Really tired today, and I apologize. I know I'm super low energy. But whatever. Let's close some of these things. I don't want all this stuff open. Oh, of course, you couldn't see it. I see. It drives me nuts. I'm sitting here trying to show you guys something, and all you're seeing is the Easy FPS editor open because it doesn't give focus. If anybody knows how to do that, in fact, let me just look that up. Maybe there's a way. And let's just do... here, I'm going to go to chat. GPT, because it's... People clown on this. Man, people got so many opinions about AI. It's silly, dude. Silly. I mean, AI is a great tool. It's just easy. All right, what was I going to ask? I need to pay attention, otherwise, right now I don't have a lot of brain power to invest. Okay, so in OBS Studio, how do I give focus to the I am focused on instead of it using a kind of Z layering, I guess you could call it. Instead, I understand. Would like the webcam to remain on top, but going between open applications, I'd like for it to gain focus without me having to minimize windows. Anyway. To dynamically relayer sources or switch source focus based on the focus. See, and this would be a great update. That would be a great update. Would it not? Would it not? It would. It would. It would be quite exceptional. Okay. Okay, let's go to... All right, so let's close some of these out. I just only want open what I'm going to be using, so just these two. Oh my god. Okay, it's all my scripts. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Notepad++, but you know, I am glad it's free, and the same thing with OBS. So here's something I kind of want to complain a little bit. What has happened to people? I mean, everybody complains about everything. Everybody's so unhappy. It's so crazy. I saw a trailer today. I went on Twitter or X, and it was for like an Aziz Ansari movie, and I mean, it looked pretty good. It had Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen. I was like, yeah, it looks good. You know, it's a funny movie. And but people just don't like movies as much as they used to. I mean, and granted, movies have gotten pretty terrible, so there's not a lot to like. But the ones that do come out that look interesting, like this new Aziz Ansari movie, I was like, I enjoyed the trailer. I actually was optimistic, and I wanted it to be a success. I want it to be good. And you go and read the comments, and everybody's just absolutely shitting on it. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, why is everybody so angry and bitter and cynical? Like, what does it matter if this movie exists in the world or not? Like, aren't you glad that it does? If you don't want to see it, don't see it. But what compels you to go into a social media and say, I've got an opinion about this, and it's going to be negative? And they say, and it's so funny because people love to tear things down, and it used to not be that way. It used to not be that way. There was like an optimism. People were very excited about the successes of other people. I've experienced it. I mean, if you go watch The World Over on my channel here, well, not on Twitch, it's on my YouTube channel. I'm streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a movie that I put up there. It's about a 15-minute movie. And it played at different festivals. I put a lot of work into it. It's a great movie. There's so many people that come on there and just, you know, want to shit on it. I don't care. You know, that's just the way it is. You put yourself out there. But you generally, I do generally find most people do say favorable things, which is nice. But you do put yourself out there, and it's like laying your neck out. And there's people out there just ready to pounce. And a lot of it is just people, they're pissed off that you're doing something because they can't get motivated to do something, or they can't put things together, or they can't make things happen. And I've noticed that's a big part of it. It's just people, they're cynical because they're not doing anything in their lives, and it's really sad. I feel bad for them. But, you know, let's not, you know, it has nothing to do with me. But yeah, this movie, so people were complaining about it. They were like, Keanu Reeves can't act for shit. I'm just like, come on. What? Okay, like, he's not like a Shakespearean actor or whatever, but he's good in what he is. I mean, who doesn't like the first John Wick movie? He's great in it. Or Bill and Ted, he's awesome in that. And he just seems like a genuinely awesome guy, like a, you know. Well, so why would you say that? Can't act for shit. Okay. But like I'm watching the trailer and I like it. I like what I'm seeing. So I have eyeballs and a brain. I can make that assessment whether or not he can act worth a shit or not. I don't need some internet loser to come up there and say that. So it's just so weird. It's like, it's such a negative comment. And then they, you know, I scroll down to the next one. Another negative comment. It's like another boring Seth Rogen movie. Hey, DOSMan Games. I'm just sitting here ranting. Sorry. It's like you walked into me ranting. I was watching the Aziz Ansari trailer today, and it looked good. I thought it looked good. I mean, there's been so many movies that have just been awful. because that was my industry that I came from. And being somebody who's pitched a few and worked on some treatments and scripts for studios, it's good to see Lionsgate releasing movies that are a little bit closer to the way things were, I guess, early 2000s, late 90s, that sort of thing. So I was pleasantly surprised to see it, but then you go into the comments and everybody's so bitter and upset and wanting to trash on it. And I'm like, stop picking on Keanu, stop shitting on Seth Rogen. It looks fine. Looks fine. But I think there's just something. There used to be an optimism. Oh, you missed the straight to VHS era. Ice Pirates. I think I still have my Ice Pirates VHS around somewhere. But yeah, I missed the Blockbuster era. Going to Blockbuster and renting. Yeah, it was so cool. But yeah, I got sidetracked. I went off on a tangent. That's what I do. I take us to Tangent City. Nobody's here, so it's just you popping in. But these do get recorded and posted to YouTube, so that's kind of cool. But I'm just doing an update to the fire hinge. She explodes, and the explosion's not that big, so I'm gonna try to work on her creating a YouTube. Yeah, it's both Twitch and YouTube. So I'm streaming right now to both. I don't think anybody's on the YouTube one. Let me see. It doesn't say. Anyway. But I am trying to create some explosions for the fire hinge that will explode around visually so we can kind of see that happen. So fire hinge attack. So I need to this is another issue with like the things that I open don't show up. Creates an explosion radius. Okay. Okay. Let's do I don't know exactly where. You know what? I might just do this. Bring back the camera so I can address you directly. I used to work out all the time, and then you get married, and have kids, and your priorities go out the windows. Whether it's focused on them. But since moving to Austin, you think it's the opposite. You're in LA, everybody's very health conscious in California. But I moved out here to Austin, Texas, and everybody is in excellent shape. And I just feel like I'm so out of shape. I just feel so, and my wife was saying the same thing. I mean, she just had a baby, but like, she was like, I just feel like we just stand out. And I was like, right? So that's going to motivate us to get out there and do a little bit more exercising. So, but it's good you go to the gym. It's good. You got to stay healthy. Very, very important. if I'm talking. But I don't know if you remember. God, I need a haircut. Look at that. I haven't had a haircut in a long time. I'm so overdue. Crazy. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. If you ever watch Kitchen Nightmares, there's one called Burger Kitchen. I knew the guys who were involved in that. I was there at the restaurant and saw it decline. But the thing that hurt them, if you watch that show, it's great. They have it on for free on YouTube. It's the Burger Kitchen. But I knew Dan, and I knew his father. You should watch the show Jen, Dan's fiance or girlfriend. And Dan was a really great guy. And I would go in and sit at the bar, have a burger and a beer, and he would do trivia night. And we were one of the regulars. We'd come in all the time. And they had these burgers that were so good that they mixed the meat. It was like, they had one called The Godfather. And so it was burger meat with Italian sausage. So it was all these mixed. They had one that was like a chorizo. It was like and burger meat, and it was, I forget what that one was called, but that was like their spicier, like Mexican version. And it was good. I would always go and get it. And their food was fine. I mean, sometimes you'd get the food and it would be, not perfect. But sometimes it was really good. Well, you know how it is if you're in the restaurant business. You show up and you get a burger and it's your first time being there. There's so many restaurants in LA that if you go there and you don't get a good experience, you go right to Yelp and you leave. So they were certainly without clientele, and they were hemorrhaging money. And but Dan was a great guy, and I always go. I like to support businesses. My wife always laughs. She's like, "You always go to the businesses that have nobody inside." I was like, "Well, I don't like to be bothered. I don't like packed restaurants. I don't like going places that are that's like hell to me. To go to a place that's just like absolutely packed." What was it with the Burger Kitchen? What was I going to bring up? Oh yeah. Well, their problem was that they kept changing the menu. Over and over and over, they would just change the menu. And I think it was because of Dan's father. Oh, what was his name? He passed away, unfortunately. Him and his wife really kind of look like villains in the Burger Kitchen one. I mean, it's just really sad to see their family drama drawn out like that. But they were nice people. His father was nice. He was a nice guy. He just sad set of circumstances. But his father, I think, was behind changing the menu so often. He was just constantly trying to pivot, which is a sign of panic. And you're not giving it a chance for the stuff that's good to take off. And they had the burgers that were really good, and those mixed burgers. And I really think that could have been something to put them on the map. But they just keep pivoting. And so even when Gordon Ramsay came in and changed the menu, I would go back, and they weren't open for maybe like 2 months after that, and they just didn't have the money. They started changing again. And it's like, I think the father came back in. And so then they went out of business. I remember being with Dan one night. I came up like when they were closing. It was like the last week. And I was sitting there at the bar having a burger, and he was just so beside himself. It was really sad. So I went out back with him because he smoked cigarettes and all that. I didn't. I think he did. I don't know, but we went outside. And I sat out there with him, and he was just really beside himself. And I tried to give him some encouraging words, but it was just none to be had. He was just dealing with a bad circumstance. His father took his money to open. He had like $300,000 or something. He used his money, or $500,000. I can't remember how much it was, but he used his money to open up that restaurant. It's a great 2-part episode of Kitchen Nightmares. It's worth watching. It's fantastic. I actually went up there when they were filming and ate in there, but I told the producers, I was like I know that I'm a regular, so they were like, okay. But they'd still let me in. I came in to support, and I saw Dad in there. He was very worried. He was like, hey, thanks for coming out. But they didn't use me in the footage. And why was I bringing that up? Oh, because the Bob Zemeckis thing. So, yeah, and like the second Bob Zemeckis passed on the script that we wrote, the producers came in and were like, "We need to pivot again." And so it was like reminding me of like the Burger Kitchen, and bad restaurants do that. Just like you instead of improving upon what you have and making a good decision and then sticking to your good decision, they pivot too much. You can't pivot too much. You can't get in your head. You got to get in there and like say this is a good idea, because then it shows that you don't have confidence in what you're doing. And as the writers on that screenplay, it seemed like the producers didn't have confidence in us, and I just couldn't. It was starting to affect us, impact us. Our confidence started waning, and hated it. It's just got bad, and I was like, this sucks. But I don't know why I brought this up, but anyway, I did have a script read by Bob Zemeckis, and that's pretty cool. But they didn't send it to Mark Webb, who was second on the list, because the producers got a little rattled and said, we need to go back and change the genre. And it was too much of a change. I mean, we started off, the original script was in the tone of like Super 8 and Goonies, right? Because Super 8 was hot when we just hit the theaters, did well that year. And this was maybe like a year after. And we were pitching something more like that sort of like homage to the Spielbergian era of like the 80s, which Stranger Things capitalized on too. And we said, hey, this would be great tone. By the time we get to our final draft, the tone is no longer Goonies and Super 8. It is now the movie Date Night, which was a Steve Carell and Tina Fey movie at the time. It was a comedy, didn't do very well. And I'm like, yeah. And my writing partner just basically looked at me one time. We got about halfway through that draft, and he looked at me, he says, "So, are you excited about writing this?" I hadn't even thought about it. And I said, no. And he says, me either. Me either. So, yeah, that was it. We stopped writing on it. That was that. And then writing partner went on to... He'd had some success, too, because he co-written a film with Will Ferrell, and he was one of the writers of Eastbound and Down. And, he had many successes, and Red Oaks, I think was the name of that show on Amazon. And he went on to, like, teach at a university. But... that was basically where I was like, I just got kind of fed up with writing. And around that time, I had submitted a screenplay, and it was to the Nichols Fellowship. And I just had gotten... So this is classic with me with Hollywood. I would get in to do something and then just get so fucking annoyed and leave. And I would just hop up and leave and be like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm done with Hollywood for now. Then get back into tech. Because... Hollywood never paid the bills. Tech always paid the bills. And anytime I was working in tech, I was always flush with cash in LA, which was it's a nice feeling. Never when I was working in Hollywood. I was always trying to get back into Hollywood and try to get... Because that's what I went to school for. I didn't get to school to be a dev. And that's always what my passion was. Now I'm completely just like, fuck film again. And I think it's going to be like that for pretty much the entire time. Hopefully, because it gets bad. You get to a point where you just feel like you associate your worth to your successes, and that's how everybody there is. That's how everybody treats you. They treat you like, what have you done? What's the last thing you've done? And I look at it as art. I still love going back and, I still love the original Star Wars trilogy, and always will. I still love the movies from the 80s that were from my childhood, and who cares what you did recently? I mean, look, speaking of Bob Zemeckis, Back to the Future, I mean, who cares what movies he comes out with and everybody maybe doesn't like his latest film. And it's like, who cares? He made Back to the Future. That's all that matters. You got that on your belt, you've succeeded in life. But unfortunately, it's not like that. And so I was out of film. I'm just sitting here, just giving you my life story. But and then wrote a screenplay, got it into the Nickel Fellowship, and it did really well there, which is the Academy's screenwriting competition. In fact, the Academy's always been really. I've got a screenplay that's in the Academy's library, which is a huge honor. You can go right now to their library and check out my screenplay. You can look me up and check me out and and read it if you want. What's funny thing is I sent them the script and as a PDF, and so they go and they print it out. I didn't even read it. I don't know if the version I sent them was a good version of the screenplay. So hopefully it's because we had so many production drafts and all. So hopefully it was. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. We were doing some work, and then I started blathering on about that. But so yeah, that was the thing. So I did a screenplay for the and submitted to the Academy's screenwriting competition, and another one. And I did really well in the Academy one, and I placed as a finalist in the Big Break, which is final drafts for. So suddenly I start getting calls from managers and all this, like, hey, are you represented? And I was out. I was focusing on other things, and then they pulled me back in. And my wife at the time was just like, at the time, she's still my wife. But at the time, my wife said, you should just make a movie. Because the whole time I've been like getting frustrated because I'm like, I just want to make a movie. It's very hard to make a movie because it's so expensive. I think you have a better chance when you're younger making a movie because you have a lot of friends. You've got like-minded friends. It's easy to get them. Once people get older and you start having a mortgage and kids, and that happens quickly. Once your friends start getting in their 30s, man, it's like hard to mobilize. But if you're all in like your early 20s, mid 20s, fine. That's when you strike. That's when you do the make a film. And so I went out and wrote this screenplay, and basically because I had the success with the Academy screenwriting competition, and people like that, and actors and actresses will be very interested in you for that reason, and that's exactly what happened. I got a really phenomenal actress who had just been doing a couple films, and she was very interested in working with me, so I wrote this screenplay. It was called The Door, and it was a short film, and I sent it to her, sent it to her, and she loved it, and it became The World Over, which is the movie that's on my channel. That was a bitch to make for the money. And again, you go onto the comments there, and there's like, it's so funny when people get negative about it. I'm like, people have no idea how hard it was, because everything we shot, we had these really smooth dolly movements, and you have effects in there that come from plates that we shot. So because you're going between universes, so you got one shot that's a push in of the doorway. There was a portal in the doorway. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend just go see it. It's on my channel. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's like 15 minutes. In fact, it's a 17 and a half minute running time, but like the movie itself is like 15 minutes. It's like all credits at the end. Word to the indie filmmaker, if you're making a short film, do not make long credits. You will feel it every time you go to a festival and you're sitting in the audience and everybody just kind of like, because they're sitting there for like 3 minutes of like rolling credits. It's ridiculous. What am I talking about? So like blathering on. We should be working. We're supposed to be working right now, guys. Anyway, yeah. So I was I was like pulled back into the film industry was the point of that. So I'll just wrap that up quickly. And that's the story there. Yeah, if you come here expecting, let me actually switch you over. me just check that we have a stream. Do we still have a stream, guys? Yes, we have a stream. The stream is working. So I don't know what's going on. But we will get... Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Yeah, that was my old neighbor at our building. We lived in a dope little building, 100-year-old building in my old neighborhood. And it was right across the street, kind of catty corner, like was a used to be where the Carthay Circle Theater used to be. This is where they had the premiere of Gone with the Wind and Snow White, apparently, and it's what they they've rebuilt at Disneyland California Adventure. It's a restaurant now, but the exterior looks like the theater. Looks just like Carthage. It's funny too because I've been to that restaurant twice, and every time I go, when I used to live, because I lived right across the street from where that theater used to be, they tore it down in the '60s. I would go to that restaurant at Disneyland, and I would always mention, I don't know why, that I like live in Carthage Circle, right across the street where this theater used to be. And there was this young kid. He was a Zoomer. he was like maybe early 20s, and he was giving me the tour. So they have a whole tour where they kind of take you through the restaurant, and there's pictures, and then like pictures of my neighborhood, and like of the building I lived in, which was kind of cool. 100-year-old building. It was built in the 1920s. And in fact, it's almost 100 years old. It'll be 100 years old in 2 more years. But I was going through with this guy, and I was like, that's my house, like right across the street from this. And after he's telling this whole historical spiel, like that's the thing, he's giving you a tour on your way to your seat. And without missing a beat, just looks at me and goes, oh, okay. So then in 1932, and he just started just moving right into his spiel. Like he could give a damn about what I was saying. Like he just did not care. It was amusing. I remember looking at my wife, and she just kind of raised an eyebrow at me, and we laughed about it. I think the second time when I came there, I was like, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to mention it, and I did. And they were like, oh, they did the more traditional sort of, oh, cool, okay. They don't care. I mean, why would they? What was the expectation, right? That they're suddenly going to be like, oh, that's amazing. We should take you to the chef's chair, and you should meet the chef. And well, hold on, let's get Mickey Mouse in here. And we'll tell them, they don't give a damn, and it's it's just a little factoid. They're giving me factoids, so I just gave them a little factoid back. And so that's how that works. Okie dokes. Let's see. Let's go back to... Pretty cool. Yeah, you can see the game full screen now. All right. So, in the story, basically what happens is you've fallen off this platform up there, and you've just woken up, and you've woken up in the sewer after a little dream sequence. Yes, there is a dream sequence. Oh, what the heck? What the heck, man? But this is a testament to the Quake engine. The platforming is not, for lack of a better word, bullshitty. It is really excellent, and so you can do platforming. Not a lot. I don't put a lot of platforming in here, but you can do platforming, and it works pretty well. Can you hear me? Yeah. Let me just check this out real quick. Test. Yeah. Okay. So these are these big robots, and it's blocking my way, and I'm not going to be able to fight my way past it. Not with just fists, because I don't have any of my weapons. I forgot. I grabbed all those weapons, but it takes them away. So what you have to do is go into water and sneak past them, and you got to be somewhat quick because you have limited time, and he can't see you. Same with these guys. So, and there is a fish. Give him a punch in the nose. Get him away from me. Because the fish will bite you. It's a piranha. It is a piranha. And I just updated these textures here recently, and it does look better. I like these textures better. And then you find your weapons. I don't need that. And there's a fish right here. Little pro tip. Yeah, I just updated all this artwork. This is some updates. Because the sewer levels start to get monotonous. They started like having the same look. This is somebody who tested it. Was like, dude, you gotta... Oh, shoot. Oh my god, I'm going into this with with no health. I don't know why I got sandbagged here, but I just got sandbagged. I hope I don't get hit. Yeah, 50% is not good. I mean, you'll be fine if you're good at the game, or you're good at first-person shooters. I'm not. I am rubbish. All right, so we got our good gun. And I just added this new feature where you can sort of zoom in. It's kind of nice. Then we go to... Alright. So that's just where we were. It's a new level. Alright. Guy over here. Oh, I love this. See, it's got a little zooming thing that it does. It kind of it takes longer to reset. So if I fire, I don't get the full, like, tap, 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 tap. Is this guy dead? Yeah. There's a guy right there. I don't know if you can see him. But I can. I took care of him. I love the enhancement here. This is great. It pops back out in the zoom when you... But I don't think that really matters. See, it shoots slower. Usually it shoots like this. So that is one thing that you will definitely encounter. Anyway, I can take care of the rest of the guys here pretty easily. You can hear them like I gotta fix that sound. I don't like it. The sound of them firing. It was one of the notes I had. It was like I was using the same fire sound as like as one of the other enemies, or yeah, one of the other enemies, and so one of the testers said, "Hey, you need to change that up." So I said, "Okay." But I do not like the new sound, so I need to modify that. Just getting my weapons of ass destruction. Okay. Ah! No! No, no, no. God darn it. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be a little calm communication with my partner here. All right, setting up a little piece of the plot. All right. Sneaky little bastard. Looks good. Looks good. Alright, it looks good. Just a little bit of a hiccup there. It's my little Fallout health. Radioactive. They do hurt each other. Oh, so it causes the explosions to be a little bit better. Okay, it definitely took all them out. Damn, it took them out through the wall too. Well, that was dope. I was hoping it would have no damage, but whatever. Oh, that's dope. Alright. This was a great addition. That was an amazing addition. Oh my god. There we go. Here, I'm gonna go back and get I think I still have that steak. Yep. I still got the steak. I eats the steak and feel better. I do like the explosions we added. This makes it 10 times better. And I'm going to... I have to repackage this build. Oh, excuse me. Oh, shoot. Forgot. I didn't kill everybody. I got to talking, and I forgot. Now I'm gonna... I love that these guys are so volatile now. So funny, like you don't, how they just kind of wait till they see you. It's like there's no hearing. They don't hear the this fucking gun going off. As you can tell, I'm very methodical. Oh, what's up, dude? Methodical player. Ooh. That's right. Grappling hook. Oh no, I forgot. Oh yeah. They will run! I don't want to take I don't want to get blown up. Alright, they work well. Oh. That works. I love it. Love it. Love it. Go up this ladder real quick. Love it. Love it. All right. You know, my publisher was like, first time you played this game and I added this mechanism in. Excuse me. You're trying to get into your hideout. And so you got this little mechanism. It's very clear. You got 4 here. You got 4 lights here. You need to... oh, what is this lighting thing going on here? This is not cool. Need to fix that. This is like an easy game. You just basically have to get them all green. And when they're all green, the door will open. Okay? So, it's easy to do. Ready? You find the far left one here. Right? Changes it to that. Then you go not to the next one, but you skip one. Okay? And then what they do is every time you press one of these, it turns the one next to it opposite color. So if I did this one, this would turn green, this would turn green, that would turn red. So obviously I want to do this one, so that turns green, that turns green, that turns green. Right? So see? Turn them all green. And if you recognize, I don't know, if you've seen The World Over, I don't know if, you know, then you will recognize maybe some of this music. I just reused some of the music. Let's see what we got going on. Hey. 10 p.m. UK time. What is 10 p.m. UK time? Let's see. Google. 10 p.m. in the UK is what time in Texas, in Austin, Texas? 4 p.m. That's right. Perfect. Very fair. That works. That works. I live in Austin. Which would be 4 p.m. my time. Perfect. That works. Okay. Just taking care of some business. Some business. Oh, I'm so freaking tired. I'm going to prepare the steaks here in a little bit, so I'm going to have to get off. But I want to fix the audio first. everything that I have going on in my Dropbox. Probably in the same time zone as one of the others, either Deadford or me. At time 2, I've shared the link with the other 2 so they can play it. I'll put out a promo for the episode on Saturday with an invitation. Just to ask questions to you. We'll be covering... All right. Yeah, I have a podcast. Oh, so it's on my Visage. I have a podcast that I'm doing on Sunday. I have the worst posture. This is... Look, I'm going to tell you something. Listen up. Who am I talking to? This will go to a video. This is a little bit more interesting than yesterday. Yesterday was boring. I mean, the more I do these, the better I get at it. I forgot what I was going to tell you. What the hell was I talking about? Do I have dementia? Oh, I'm on a podcast. Well, it's not a podcast. It's a show. It's called Quad Damage, which I'm excited about. It's in the UK. They're doing some fun stuff in the UK. I love it when people are... I don't know what happened. I was talking about this at the beginning of the podcast. I don't know what happened in America where everybody got so cynical. I hate the cynicism. And I've been talking with these guys out of the UK, and everybody I've talked to, and everybody I've worked with, it's just, they're so optimistic and polite and energetic and passionate. And I don't even know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about that. I just, I hope we get our heads out our ass, that's for sure. Because, we used to be optimistic. I hate to be that guy to sit up here like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. Get off my lawn. I was like, back in my day. But, I mean, I guess in a way it's what happens when you become a father, too. You just talk as if... talk as if you know... Yesteryear was better. Okay, guys? It was. If you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, fucking life was great. Pre 9/11, life was amazing in this country. It was so funny. Like, my wife and I were talking about our kids. I have one that's like 3.5 almost. And the other one's 6 months. He'll be 3.5 in about 2 more months. The 3s are hard, man. So hard. But they always talk about the terrible 2s. The terrible 3s are worse. But we're talking about like that my wife and I were both alive, and she's younger than me by 7 years. But we were talking about how we were alive at a time when just, we didn't have cell phones. I mean, they existed when she was born, but like, they were just prohibitively expensive. And like how we didn't really, the internet wasn't a thing when we were younger, It wasn't a thing at all. I mean, people, I remember the first time I saw a modem, and you put your phone on it. You do a dial-up modem. Prior to that, I was in the military, and they did, what was it called? It was modulated carrier wave as part of communication. And that was exactly what it was. We would set up these modulated carrier waves, and it was basically a modem. And you get that sound. I don't know if you're old enough to remember. It's like squelching. And that's how we made connections, and it was basically the same thing. It's called a modulated carrier wave. And if you look that up, I haven't been able to find any information called modulated carrier wave ever again. In fact, the term that we use for Morse code, because whenever you think about Morse code, it's it's actually called continuous wave. So there's a continuous, who fucking cares? But like, what you're doing, you're pressing you're sort of making that circuit, and it makes the noise. Dee, 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 dee. It's a continuous wave, so who cares? Uh-oh, what is this? Best viewers on Steam boot. Oh, no. Yeah, so we got another spammer. Let's just let's open this up and ban old Dylan. One message was deleted. Man, don't come in here spamming. Hate when the spam bots come in here. All right. I mean, I was talking about so many important things, so All right, where was I? That's what I was doing. I was trying to not show all my files. So you guys are... It's my Dropbox. God, it's so slow for some reason. Yeah, I can't update to Windows 11. I'm just really annoyed by that. My brain shutting off. It's probably... I have to go dry brine the steaks anyway. We have steaks tonight. Not good ones. My wife bought some from Costco. It's a new thing out here. We didn't really have a Costco nearby in our old place in LA, so it's nice to have a Costco nearby. It would be very domesticated. All right. Enemies. God, it's like so... You create a folder structure, and it's just so hard to remember where everything goes. Or I'm distracted. I don't know why I'd be distracted. Okay. Okay, now we can come back. The podcast, I just sent him a link today. It was like the latest build, and then we just made that little change with the fire, and it makes the game so much better. And yet I can't... They've already downloaded the link and sent it out to people, so they're not going to be able to see the update to the fire hinge that we just made today, but that's okay. And with the sound, so they're going to get the old sound that sounds a little less meaty. And I need a haircut. Yeah, but I think I'm going to go brine the steaks. And I'm going to be very domesticated. And I'm going to go for a walk in the heat. And I'm sorry for the distractions today. It was actually funny because I had just bought some new shorts. So I had like 4 pair of shorts that I wear. And again, I was talking about it earlier. My wife and I basically feel like we're just sort of out of sorts here. Like you feel different. Like we're not trying to fit in necessarily. We're fine being who we are. We come from LA but like I'm just wearing t-shirts. I'm just a t-shirt guy and shorts and Vans and whatever else. And more Nikes. And that's just who I was. And I felt so comfortable in my old LA neighborhood, walking around, kicking it. It wasn't nearly as hot. We had great weather in LA. I come here, just like I'm sweating my what's off. I'm sweating like crazy, dripping sweat. And walking around, and I'm wearing shorts. So I usually just wear jeans, like in the summertime. I mean, I wear shorts in the summertime too in LA, but like I usually wear jeans. So I have like more jeans that I wear. I don't have that many shorts. I had 4 pairs. And 2 of those, 5 pairs. So 3 of those are from like a long time ago. And they're very long. They're not very long. It's not like Jenko shorts or something. It's not like I bought them in 1998, but they're long. I mean, they come past my knee. And it's just not the style. And they're also like the pair that I have on now, they have like the carpenter pockets or whatever, I didn't buy these. In fact, my biggest problem has been that my wife buys my clothes a lot of times, so I just kind of wind up wearing like whatever the fuck she buys. And she'll buy me like really uninteresting clothing. Just not stylish. And I don't know why. And I mean, I'm a big boy. I should be doing big boy things. I should be buying my own clothes. This is not me complaining, saying how dare she? I mean, bless her heart. But no, I'm saying that I should definitely be buy my own clothes. And I do now. But I hate going to the mall. I've never liked going to the mall. She give me these gift certificates to Nordstrom's where they'll have like a person come out and help you. And I did that one time and I freaking hated it. I didn't mind it when I bought a suit. I did mind it when I was buying clothes. Because that's a big thing. Is like when you're in LA and you're like meeting people and you're networking a little bit. And like when I was doing the more film stuff, they're very ageist out there. So you try to like, and they're very wrapped up in like, are you hip? And so you're always chasing some nonsense when you're out there. So you have to make sure your wardrobe is up to date and look, you want to look, and it's fun. I like having stylish clothes. And I've got some nice clothes that I bought not too long ago. But I never wear them. They're just not as comfortable. I like to just wear like t-shirts and jeans and a hoodie. But yeah, but these are like carpenter pants, like shorts, and it's not in style, and they're too long, so I feel like I fit in. So anyway, I ordered some Volcom shorts. They're come above the knee, so I can be a little bit more in this decade. That's just being a fucking nerd. But since we moved, I've updated things. Like I updated my address in Apple on my iPhone. I had to do that. You have to update it everywhere. And Apple usually makes things very simple. So I was like, oh, I'll update it and it'll know where I live and know where I want to send things. No. When you buy from Apple Pay, there's two things here bother me here. One is with Apple Pay, it's using an old address, my old address, because that's what it's set up as like what's associated with the credit card. I get that, but I wish it would just be a little bit more clear. Like before you submit, you know, we noticed you moved. You're about to send something. You know, do you want to change the address? So I didn't think. I just thought it would automatically change, and like the second I hit it, I was like, oh, I should double check that this is coming to my new address. And I go in and check, and of course, it's to the old address. And so I immediately reached out. I said, hey, this is going the wrong address. This has happened before where something will happen, and then you'll say, hey, like there's a problem, and the people that on the other end, especially a big company like Volcom, been around forever. It's like, hey, will you know, I sent to the wrong address. Can we change that? And I'll be like, sure, no problem. They'll go into the system and be like, none of that, because they don't handle their own fulfillment anymore. At some point along the way, somebody came up with this genius idea to, Shopify is what they use. And then all these companies use Shopify, and it was a great idea. Whoever came up with this idea was freaking brilliant. They're like, look, we're going to handle your fulfillment. We're going to handle your e-commerce. We're basically going to be your Amazon, but at your site. So you don't have to come to Amazon. You can actually sell directly on yours, and we'll just have certain links that'll be on our servers, like, you know, our Shopify and things like that. And you just it's great. It's genius. It's a great business model. One major flaw, and that is here, let me get close to you here. Let me explain something to you. let me explain. The one problem is that once the sale happens, it's final. So you want to take down Shopify. This is how you do it. You create the same model. The big difference is in your fulfillment, you allow for address changes, modifications, and cancellations. Same thing happened to my wife. She ordered something, and they were like, "Oh, she wanted to cancel this." Like, we can't. Once it goes in, it's like once it goes in, it's done. Now you could say, "Well, you forgot to update it." That's true. I forgot to update the addresses completely. That's something that's on me. But it's not completely on me. Not completely on me because I should be able to reasonably, within minutes of submitting that, contact their support and be able to get eventually somebody that can intervene. I mean, I don't like this idea. It's like it's just out of our hands. And I contacted him with minutes, and I was blown away because it was fairly late at night. It was in the evening, and I got an email back. I'm like, what the? It was like on a Sunday too, or something. I don't know. Or no, it was like Monday or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, I got a response, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, they already responded back, and they're like, we're sorry. We know that this is unfortunate, and this is very frustrating. It's like that's the new customer service now. We can understand that this situation can be frustrating for you, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, yeah, it can be. So anyway, so how are we resolving it? But unfortunately, we can't resolve it. In fact, I only agree. Because, like, your order has been delivered. Yeah, so they delivered it at my old address now. So I've been trying to intervene. I was talking to Volcom, and of course, they just like, we can't do anything. It's like, well, don't sign up for a service that doesn't allow that. That's the one area of Shopify that's really stupid. The other one is, it's like, they're saying, oh, they said contact the carrier. And I knew the second that their advice was to contact the carrier that was going to go no fucking where. And I was like, okay, I'll contact the carrier. And that's exactly what I did. So I called, well, first I went on to FedEx. And they've got this ability to manage your delivery. I was like, hey, there you go. I just changed the address. Well, you have to sign in. I was like, that's fine. I signed in and I like associated this address. And I go to manage and it doesn't allow me to change it. It does allow me to have them hold it. I was like, oh, okay. So I decided today I would get up and I would call them. And of course, I get up and call the carrier and I say, hey, I'm not at that address. They're like, sorry, we can't do anything. It's already on the truck. I said, well, okay. I said, can you ship it out here to Texas? They were like, we can't do that anyway. You can't change the shipping address to a whole new state, which makes sense. And Volcom, that's what when Volcom offered it, like, contact the carrier. I said, that's just not going to work. And I told him, I said, you're going to leave me with no option but to charge back, unfortunately. Because, I mean, there should be some, and look, yes, is the fault on my end for putting in the wrong address? Yes, absolutely. But there's also split fault here, you know, where I feel like they had an obligation, they have a duty, I think, to be able to offer a proper fulfillment. And within minutes of contacting them, that should have been something that had been easy to do. They chose to go with a service that didn't allow for this, and which is insane to me. So that, you know, that's on them. That's on them. And I said, you know, I'll make a good faith effort, and I did. I called FedEx. They can't do it, and then I said, okay, can you do this? I said, can you hold it at the facility? And of course they were like, it's already on the truck. And I was like, okay, fine. But can you somehow intervene? Because this is your company. I said, you know, contact the driver. Don't deliver the something, you know. There's no way to do that. And I get it. It's like, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Can you imagine if you have that kind of overreach constantly as people are trying to do a job? And I said, okay, fine. You know, it's fine. I said, but hold it at your facility if you can. They said, okay, we'll put it in to hold it. They said, but it doesn't require a signature, so it could also be delivered. I said, I get it. But that's my good faith effort, right? That's as far as I can take it. And I said, that's what I told Volcom. I emailed them and I said, look, that's what I did. I said they still could deliver it, but I told them to hold it. Because if they hold it at the facility, they'll hold it for 5 days and then they'll ship it back to the shipper. Well, they delivered it. And so, but my neighbor texted me and was just like, what do you want me to do with this? I said, if you can send it back, great. I said, but don't go to any trouble. Because it's not his responsibility. He's just a nice guy. Fascinating. Fascinating piece of information there. But that's a bummer I can't get these new changes in. But that is fine. I'm going to save this. We didn't really do much of anything. I was teaching a little bit about Easy FPS Editor. Again, if you are a dev and you come across this video and you want to join the community, it's kind of awesome. Some very helpful people, some very cynical people in there too, but that's just the way of the world, isn't it? Let's see, close that down. This is just test. What am I clicking that for? Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it. I'm just going to pop off here. I'm going to go brine some steaks. But anyway, I'll be back on. These are get better over time, too. This is going to be me just kind of blathering at the moment. Because I don't really care. I'm just trying to get more comfortable in front of the camera. Anyway, if you did tune in, part, you're going to be watching the video later. Appreciate it. Bye. Oh, are we back? No, we're not back. Are you back?